It's that time of year again. The time of year where every YouTuber goes on the quest to find the worst Christmas movie. And I have a question.
What, like it's hard?
If I wanted to find a bad Christmas movie to review, I would simply have to type in Christmas to Netflix. And then I could pick literally any movie and talk about it. And be like, oh, it's so bad. Because, hey, guess what? Maybe what makes Christmas movies good is that they're bad. Now I get that made no sense, but I decided to do the impossible, to exceed expectations, to break the mold, if you will. I found an actually good Christmas movie. There are going to be sound effects here in the editing. Yes, I did it. It's very hard to do. But I think I found a good Christmas movie. And not just a good Christmas movie, but the best Christmas movie. If you don't already know what movie I'm talking about Curious George, A Very Monkey Christmas. Now, this movie was by no means a critical success, but hear me out. I'm going to try to explain to you the charms and the joys of Curious George, A Very Monkey Christmas. Curious George, A Very Monkey Christmas, best Christmas movie. I don't care what the reviews say. I mean, the bar for a good Christmas movie is literally on the floor. So, let's jump right in and see why Curious George is the best Christmas movie of all. Now, this Christmas movie starts like any other. A businesswoman moves from the big city to a small town, only to find the true meaning of Christmas and love. Wait, that's the wrong movie. But which movie was I thinking about? Like many of these other movies, Curious George starts with this opening sequence of music, and then a title screen. Very Christmas movie, I was gonna say very Hallmark, but this is a PBS movie. So, I don't want to hear any PBS slander in here. The cool kids without cable watched. Y'all remember Word Girl? Anyways, so after the title screen, the snow is falling outside. And it's like the best part about December is that one of these days you're gonna wake up and it's gonna be Christmas. And then George wakes up. And he runs into the room of the man with the yellow hat, who, by the way, is never given a name. Like, he looks like a Greg or a Chad, right? He's Greg or Chad. But he doesn't have a name, just the man with the yellow hat, which is, I feel, kind of disrespectful. I'm sorry, Chad. You deserved better. But George runs into the man with the yellow hat's room, and he's like, wake up, it's Christmas! Except he's a monkey, so he can't talk, he just goes, and jumps on the bed. And the man wakes up, and is like, it's not Christmas, George. And George is disappointed, and I am disappointed.
No, George, my spleen. Oh, thank you. And I am afraid it's still not Christmas yet, buddy.
Because this is supposed to be a Christmas movie. And he says, George, you've been waking me up at 5 a.m. every day since Thanksgiving.
Remember we talked about this yesterday? And the day before? And every morning at 5 a.m. since Thanksgiving. See, today is the 14th. So,
imagine being woken up at 5 a.m. every day since Thanksgiving. And it wasn't like it was the beginning of December. It was December 14th. So that's 30 days has December, April, June, and November. So November has 30 days. So if Thanksgiving is normally on the 26th, that's 4 plus 14. 18 days of being woken up at 5 a.m. And naturally he's fed up. But I can't think maybe that's what happens when you own a pet monkey.
Okay, Siri. Is it legal to have a pet monkey in New York?
In the city of New York, it is illegal to have a pet monkey.
Okay. Thank you, Siri.
When you own an illegal monkey, you get woken up every day at 5 a.m. So he creates a calendar. And he's like, Christmas is not tomorrow, George.
How many days are there until the 25th? No, it's more than one. There. That's Christmas. This is today. All these other days come before Christmas. I know.
3 days till Christmas, and George is disappointed, and I am disappointed because I want it to be Christmas. But the man explains, no, don't worry. There are so many things we can do before Christmas. But the way he explains it is through song. Now, I love musicals, and I wouldn't say Curious George, A Merry Monkey Christmas, is one of the top 10 best musicals of all times, but I'd say it's pretty close. The song's actually a haiku pop. He explains all the Christmas plans. It's like, are you ready for Christmas Day to come? Sing it with me, or if you're a monkey, hum. Are you ready for Christmas Day to come? Sing it with me, or if you're a monkey, hum. And it's so good. So good. What a bop. And then the song ends and they meet George's friends Betsy and Steve outside a toy store. Remember this window. Remember this window. It's important. I promise. I seem crazy right now, but this window's important. Alright. And out of nowhere, I think. I mean, I've watched this movie twice within 24 hours, so I'm pretty sure out of nowhere. I think the man might ask, but he's like, I want a xylophone for Christmas. And then Steve's like, but Betsy, you don't actually want a xylophone for Christmas. And Betsy's like, yeah, I do. And Steve is like, but you already have a xylophone at home. And Betsy's like, Jesus, Steve, stop mansplaining this to me. My xylophone only has 15 keys, and I want to be able to play and write more songs, so I need a brand new xylophone with new keys. Now, not to be the mansplaining Steve in this situation, but wouldn't it be easier, cheaper, more affordable, more eco-friendly just to get some xylophone add-ons? You can get some keys, some notes, some whatevers separately, which is a lot less expensive than a real xylophone. Why are xylophones so expensive? Oh my gosh. She must be rich. Steve wants a bike for Christmas.
My whole list is just 4 letters. B-I-K-E. Bike.
Every time I watch that scene, I'm like, Steve is gonna misspell the word bike. Steve is gonna misspell the word bike. But bike is actually spelled B-I-K-E. I just don't know how to spell. And inspired by Steve and Betsy, George is like, what do I want for Christmas? So he writes a list. But George is literally a monkey, so his list is very, very unreadable. Like, not readable at all. He shows it to the man with the yellow hat. The man with the yellow hat pretends to know what it is, which is like, this is your monkey. If you don't know what he wrote, just be like, George, I don't know what this is. It's just shapes. But he just goes along with it. He's like, yes, I know what it is, but he doesn't. So he spends the rest of the movie trying to figure out what it is. And George doesn't know what to get the man with the yellow hat for Christmas. And Chad over here is not being very helpful. Because Chad says, just make me something nice. He doesn't even say just make me something nice. He just says, make me something. And that confuses George. I'd be confused too. I'd be like, what the heck do you want, Chad? What do you want? But anyways, that's the main plot of the movie. They're just trying to figure out what to get each other for Christmas, which is very wholesome, very fun. But that's the plot, right? I want to talk about the subplots of this movie because they are impeccable, amazing, superb. Chef's kiss, so good. There's a subplot where they go and buy a Christmas tree, right? And where they go to buy a Christmas tree. And I think you guys know that I have a heart condition because in my heart
is a
there's
Christmas tree farm.
I stole that joke from Twitter, I'm sorry. But they go to this Christmas tree farm in my heart to buy a Christmas tree. And George knocks over every single Christmas tree because Christmas trees are not good for climbing.
Trees.
You know,
Proper
you gotta get
climbing trees are your
oaks,
oak,
your maples,
your
your
maple,
firs, you know,
your
climbing
spruce.
trees. So they knock over every single tree. And the tree gets like a chair stuck in it, and honestly, iconic. And they go home to decorate the tree, and they almost kill a dog. Like, they almost kill this dog. But the dog was being pretty savage earlier in the movie.
And here came the absolute opposite of an organized tree.
A disorganized tree. What does that even mean? Imagine someone just walks up to you and says, "Hey, you're a disorganized tree. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do?" Anyways, while they're decorating the tree, George is like, I wonder what I should get the man for Christmas. Because they realize, oh, subplot's over. Time to get back to the main plot. And the main plot is, what the heck do we get each other for Christmas? And so, it starts this song about what he should get him for Christmas. Now, this movie has some singing in it, not a lot. But every time a character sings, it's in their own voice, their own narrations. There are these two guys from the butcher shop that really want to go to Hawaii, and so that's what their song's about, and they've seen it in their own voice. Now, Curious George is a monkey, and I ain't never seen a talking monkey. Now, and I have never seen a talking monkey, so Curious George cannot talk. He just goes, "Rrr." So I'm wondering if the voice in the song is how George would sound if he could talk. Which is a terrifying thought, because the voice in the sound is like, "Rrr." And so the song starts, and it's like, "You deserve a gift that says more. And here's what I found at the grocery store." What? Okay, first of all, this is grocery store slander. If you want to buy me a gift from the grocery store, go ahead. I would greatly appreciate it. And I know what it's trying to say is you deserve a gift that's thoughtful. But you can find a thoughtful gift at the grocery store. I'm not going to sit around and take this grocery store slander. But yeah, the song is basically like that. He thinks of a whole bunch of things that he'd give to the man with the yellow hat. But all these things are so cool. And because they're so cool, they don't exist. For your 4-year-old me who asked Santa for a unicorn can relate. Yes. The funniest part about this song is George literally getting so angsty because he does not know what to get this man for Christmas. He's like, he's like, but there's no such thing as a monkey to do to find someone as special as you. That's great. And also, in this song, the 2 requirements for a Christmas present are it has to be nice and fit under the tree. But what in the world could it be? So yeah, I mean, fitting under the tree and being nice, 2 reasonable requirements for a Christmas present. Meanwhile, the subplot begins. And this is the Betsy and Steve subplot. And so George goes over to Betsy and Steve's house. And Betsy's like, I'm going to write my Aunt Margaret a Christmas song, and I'm going to sing it at the Christmas pageant, and that is going to be my Christmas present to my Aunt Margaret. Betsy's British now. She's not in the show. But I feel like she should be British. She's rich. She's getting a second xylophone for Christmas. Her Aunt Margaret looks rich. And she has a brother named Steve. So you're rich if you have a brother named Steve. Brother named Steve, gang. High five. So anyways, she can't think of any Christmas songs to write because it's been said and done. Every Christmas song's been already sung. And so she's struggling. She's like, oh no, what song am I ever going to write for my Aunt Margaret? But her brother Steve is great help. And he always comes up with great Christmas songs for her. He gives her ideas and they bounce off of each other, except they don't. Because Betsy doesn't like any of Steve's Christmas songs, and Steve writes some really good ones. My favorite is about fish knowing if it is Christmas or not. It goes something like, do fish know that it's Christmas? Do fish know if it is Christmas? Do fish know if it is Christmas? Or are they confused? And it's so good. But Betsy just goes, oh my, Steve, how embarrassing. Why am I trying to do this accent? It keeps changing. But that's my favorite subplot. Do fish know if it's Christmas is a bop? I wish they'd put it on Spotify because it's the best song in the whole entire movie. So George is like, wow, a song's such a great idea for a Christmas present, but I'm not a musical monkey. What do I do? And then he runs into his friends, Ratatouille and Catatouille. And Ratatouille and Catatouille are making snowmen, but like with tomatoes. Is this like a thing? I don't know. Also, I don't know why I named this chef Ratatouille. His name is Chef Piscetti, which I think is so much funnier than Chef Ratatouille, but oh well. Anyways, Chef Piscetti Ratatouille says, oh yes, the man with the yellow hat. Well, he loves these tomato snowmans. So George goes home and murders a bunch of tomatoes. And it's a very gruesome scene. But the man is like, oh my gosh, I love tomato snowmen. This was so thoughtful. I need to know what to get George for Christmas. So he calls up his scientist friend, Dr. Wiseman. Little bit on the nose there, right? So the next day, they go to the museum so Dr. Wiseman can figure out what George wants for Christmas. And at first, she tries to do it all scientifically. She's like, well, I'm a genius, so I got this. And then she takes the picture, and she takes George to a tree, and she's like, this looks like a ball, but it's Saturn. Which, I thought Saturn was in space, but cool. And she's like, there's a lot more to things than meet the eye. And she holds up his picture, his Christmas list. And she's like, well, George, what is this? If only there was someone who could tell me what it was. And Curious George turns and points at the man with the yellow hat, and the man with the yellow hat goes, yeah, I know what it is. This whole movie, the whole conflict of this movie is caused by the man lying and saying that he knows what the Christmas list is. I don't really expect anything better than a man that keeps a monkey illegally as a pet, but it could have all been avoided if he was like, yo, George, what's this? But anyways, they run the list through like a translation program on the computer, and the computer explodes. It's really iconic. I love it. It's one of the best things in television history, in my opinion. And so, George and the man with the yellow hat have reached new levels of angst. It's so close to Christmas, and they have no idea what to get each other. Y'all are so dumb. They are so dumb. And so, they're like, well, what do we get each other for Christmas? So they come up with a foolproof plan. They stalk each other. For like the whole day, they just follow each other around New York. They're like, and of course they don't find anything. They're like, I'll follow them and see where they go and see what they want, but they don't find anything. Because they're following each other, and it's chaos, and I love it. and it's chaotic, and it's funny, and did this win an Oscar? I mean, it's 57 minutes, so it's barely a movie, but I think it should win an Oscar. Do you think there should be an Oscar category for best Christmas movie? Or maybe like worst Christmas movie? Or maybe least bad Christmas movie? Because that'd be a fun category. And I think this would have won the least bad Christmas movie. Because it's not bad, it's good. And so now, it's Christmas Eve. We're getting down into it. It's crunch time. No, it's the day before Christmas. What? The timeline in this movie makes no sense. I think it might be Christmas Eve, but it might be the day before. It's not really clear. I think it's the day before. Well, they go to Betsy's Christmas pageant, and Betsy's panicking. Oh, I still don't know. I have a song to sing for my Aunt Margaret. Oh no. And then Steve pulls out the fish. He's like, do fish know if it is Christmas? I have a very important question to ask you, Betsy. Do fish know if it is Christmas? And Betsy's like, well, Steve, that is a stupid question and a stupid song. I guess, Aunt Margaret, you just won't be giving a present this year. I am so sorry. But George goes up to Betsy. And Betsy's in distress. She's like, it's been said and done. Every Christmas song's been already sung. And George goes up to her. And she's like, there are songs about bells. And there are songs about my dogs barking. And there are songs about snowflakes. And there are songs about partridges in a pear tree. What the heck am I gonna write about? And George comes up to her and goes, me! And Betsy's like, oh my god, that is such a good idea. And so she writes a song about George. It's called Christmas Monkey. And it goes, Christmas time. And the audience loves it, right? They're going crazy. They're going, Christmas monkey, Christmas monkey. No one song about Christmas monkey. Christmas monkey has no song. It's been that way for much too long. And it's a bop. It's iconic. I'm pretty sure it won a Grammy that year. Don't look that up. But it's so good. And Aunt Margaret's like, wow, Betsy, I really like that song you've sung me. And Betsy was like, thanks, Aunt Margaret. And Steve's just sitting there like, I didn't get you anything, but I still hope you get me that B-I-K-E. Yeah, bike. And the man with the yellow hat is spiraling into a deep depression at this point. It's very sad. He feels like he doesn't understand George anymore. He can't give George what he wants. George just wants this for Christmas. And the man does not know what this is. And so, while the man spirals into his deep depression, he has a dream. And in that dream, he meets the Time Lord, the Clockmaster, or how he refers to himself in this scene, the ghost of time going sideways. Did they, trademark the names of the ghost in A Christmas Carol? Because the ghost of time going sideways. But anyway, yes, it is the Christmas Carol. The man goes around and sees how George's life would be different if George lived with other people. And, eventually he realizes George would be happier with me. There are some funny scenes in this. Notably, how distressed the man gets when he finds out that he had a wife. The ghost of time going sideways says, oh, that's your wife. And the man goes, a wife. And then another iconic moment is from the timeline where George is a scientist. Dr. Wiseman goes, "Put some clothes on!" Chef's kiss, chef's kiss. Speaking of chef's kiss, in one of these timelines, George is Ratatouille. So good. Like, this Christmas movie brings me more joy than any other Christmas movie does. And that's why it's my favorite. And I think the point of Christmas movies is to bring joy. But anyways, in this dream, the man with the yellow hat realizes that this is the window display. Right? This list is just all the stuff that was in the window display. Yeah, George wanted the whole ass window display for Christmas. What a greedy gobbler. Oh my goodness. But of course, George, being the spoiled monkey he is, gets everything. Because as soon as he wakes up, and this is Christmas Eve, as soon as he wakes up, he runs to the store. And with the yellow hat, he checks to make sure the things are the same, and they are. And he's like, "I understand my monkey! I understand my monkey! I understand my monkey!" But by the time he gets to the store, it's closed. Sorry, Chad. I'm so sorry. But then Mr. Time Lord shows up and he's like, "You still have 10 more minutes." And the guy's like, "Oh, yeah, my clock was not actually at 7. I was just trying to close my store 10 minutes early," which, how do you make that mistake? But anyways, he goes and buys all the presents. George wakes up. It's finally Christmas. The man with the yellow hat is a present wrapping god. No, he's not. And what George gets from the man with the yellow hat is some wrapping paper. But actually, you flip it over to the other side and unroll it. And, oh, there's the pictures of all the things they did during Christmas, and it's so cute. And he's like, "My favorite part is you, me, and the chair and the Christmas tree." Which, can we get a Hallmark movie called You, Me, and the Chair and the Christmas Tree? Because I love that. There's a reprise of "Are You Ready for Christmas Day to Come? Sing it with me, or if you're a monkey, hum." They reprise the first song. The movie's over. And it's glorious, it's beautiful, it's the best Christmas movie ever. Now, why do I like this movie? This movie is fun. It's silly. It literally makes no sense. It's a good time. They put a chair on top of the tree, and there's a star in that, and that's George's favorite part of Christmas. It's a great time. All in all, Curious George, a great Christmas movie that I loved, that I still watch every year. And I will never get tired of it. Now, before you go today, I have one important question to ask you. Do fish know when it is Christmas? Do fish know when it is Christmas? Do fish know when it is Christmas? Or are they confused? That's all for now. Bye.